This is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Garrigus and Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No church with gun men to get on. Welcome to the best 15 minutes or so in the universe. It's Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. I'm Adam Carolla. It's Mark Hardout. Garrigus.
So before you came in here, I see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bottle, if we're on video, if you're watching on YouTube, for Duke Scotch. And the boys were explaining to me that Duke was the nickname of John Wayne. And I said,
Armo have it as Duke Magian.
Exactly what I told them. They looked at me and you should have seen the glazed looks over there.
No, that's ours. Duke.
That's yours.
That's the whitest guy on the planet. No room for Armos. That's cultural appropriation right there.
Right there, exactly. Actually in reverse, because I think George Duke Magian would be chronologically after John Wayne Duke. What do you think?
If you're saying that John Wayne was born before, yes, yeah. I would say yes. Is Duke Magian still alive?
No. The Duke is, in fact, I used to get a kick because nobody could pronounce the name, and he would phonetically have on the letterhead, on the state letterhead, Duke Magian.
Oh, Duke Magian, yeah. Not Magian.
Yeah, Duke Magian.
Duke Magian. He was a
governor.
Yeah, California.
He, interestingly, I always say this, which is the Armenians. You know, you have the George Gascon came out and said, "We are with the blacks," or "I'm with the blacks," right? Mm-hmm. Well, Duke Magian ran the first time for Attorney General, and I think he finished fourth in a field of four. Mm-hmm. Then he ran against, I believe it was Yvonne Brathwaite Burke, who was a African-American former county supervisor in L.A., classmate of my dad's in law school. And he won. So he beat the black candidate. Then he ran for governor from Attorney General. And he ran against Tom Bradley. And I've told you this story before. Bradley going into the gubernatorial election night, I think was up by 3 to 5 points in the polls.
Oh, yeah.
Duke won.
The effect.
So, yeah. So the Armos apparently are not with the blacks when it comes to elections.
Yeah, Bradley was mayor
of L.A. UCLA track star.
Probably maybe a three-sport guy, 72, early 70s, late 60s, and got the terminal named after him at LAX.
And I'm old enough to remember him as a mayor, and I always thought he did a bang-up job.
I agree. That's why with Karen Bass, when they do like, it's going to be an African-American, it's like, well, that was 50 years. Now let's get someone who has some goddamn policy around here. How about that?
Well, speaking of which, Gary, do you happen to have the L.A. City Council tape queued up somewhere?
Oh, yes. Hold on one moment.
Because for those who haven't listened or aren't in the weeds, our L.A. City Council right now is in a state of, what would you call it?
Disrepair?
Yes. Look at this.
People are angry with the three council members.
Oh, my God. And now there's another. Today there was a story in the L.A. Mag. Gary, do you have that up? Michelle McFay, who's a great writer over at LA Magazine, did a story, and she's been pulling up pictures of the Armenian, she calls him Armenian mobster. I get mad when she says that, but that guy who apparently on the eve of the trial of the FBI agent admitted he paid somebody to take the bar exam for him. This guy right here was masquerading as a lawyer. And there he is with Kevin De Leon. There's another picture she's got somewhere else of him hubbub around with your favorite gubernatorial candidate right there.
Gavin Newsom.
Newsom, yeah. It's been quite a week in the L.A. and California politics.
Well, bit of good news. Gavin Newsom's going to lift the emergency order.
He is. Did you have breaking news? Did you hear
2023, February. Maybe February. Did he pick a date?
Yeah, it's in the 20s. It's after the Super Bowl, I believe, which is perfectly ironic.
So we got a hard out for that.
Don't get me started.
All I could think of yesterday was Adam, because I sat in a courtroom and a very able judge, but the courts are in such a disarray. In fact, Gary, you can play the clip. This is the courtroom. So I'm with Kane. I went up to.
Oh, sure. We'll put it up. And by the way, February 28th. So
Yeah,
you get all the way to the end there.
All the way to the end of February.
Because we needed 3 years for a state of emergency because we've now got a new definition of what an emergency is.
Yeah.
So this is yesterday after what I'm going to talk about. This is
Cain Velasquez, former UFC champion.
That's Renee Hessling, who's a local counsel up there.
So Cain's still incarcerated.
Still incarcerated, but it's an amazing thing what this state of emergency has done to the courts. This judge who's running a teeming master calendar court has to make a statement for over 20 minutes about the effect and reasons that and what the impact that COVID has had in the Santa Clara County Court. But I was talking with somebody this morning. Riverside is no different. LA is no different. The courts are waiving. They're basically waiving, and they have to waive because of all of these rules. The speedy trial rights. Still, we're going. I mean, but people don't understand. You and I have been talking about this for 2 years. The last time this was really done was the Civil War with Abraham Lincoln. I mean, we are saying that basically we're making findings, and poor judges have to make findings that they can't get you out to courtrooms, that you can't go to trial, and you may not waive your speedy trial rights, but I'm going to declare there's no longer a right to speedy trial.
Gary, you might be able to find this story, but a potential juror was arrested and spent the night in jail. I don't remember what the municipality was. It was not out here in California, but they had a mask optional rule for the courthouse, and he came in with 90 other North Carolina potential jurors. And the judge said, I want you to mask up. And he said, I'm going to go and waive that because it's optional and I'm choosing not to. And the judge had him arrested, and he spent the night in jail. He was going in to be a juror, like he was doing his civic duty. We are goddamn nuts in this country. And also, Judge, it's a bad look when you're having potential jurors go into jails because they won't mask up in front of His Highness.
And there's no local mask mandates, by the way. This is just a judge on a power trip who's implemented his own rule for his own courtroom and has decided to wield his power this way.
I don't think you're allowed to just implement your own set of rules, whether it's masking or parking, that don't comport with the jurisdiction you're in. Can you?
It just reminds me of when I used to go into the Pasadena courthouse with some great frequency, and they always had Juror Appreciation Month. Juror Appreciation Month. You get a free night stay in the Huskow.
This guy was arrested. He wasn't in the criminal justice system. He was there as a juror. As
a juror to be a judge of the facts in the criminal justice system.
Facts, yeah. Interesting. And then what kind of judge is this who could actually look at information and data and arrive at a reasonable conclusion when this big puss wants everyone to wear a mask?
I just wonder how long it'll take before we can shake off all of the damage and ill effects that we've had over this.
Well, any updates on Tin Horn Flats?
Just that that we're still set for trial. They've exhausted their ability to challenge it. We're going to go to trial, and so now in the discovery phase, which is just amazing, and we still are alive in the county case too. The county sued him. And we countersued. And we're
sued the owner?
He sued Barrett.
Really?
Yeah.
For keeping the patio open.
Yeah.
Which I went to.
Yeah.
Where were you? Did you go?
I didn't go until...
What kind of
I wasn't
crusader for justice are you? Oh, unless you can give a billable hour to have a burger with your son. You're not there. I grabbed my son.
You were aiding and abetting a violation with your son, which also is contributing to the delinquency. Yeah. That's what you were doing.
Did that order, the no outdoor dining order, based on zero data worldwide?
Right.
That was in effect for 5 weeks or something. I mean, it kind of came and went.
It came, it went, and then it was reimposed again. And,
really?
Yeah, in the face of a Superior Court judge writing the only definitive, in my opinion, Judge Chalfant, the only definitive, accurate kind of debunking everything in 53 pages. I mean, it was brilliant, and that's what Barrett was relying on. I mean, he said, "Look, there is a judge. It's being reported. I'm turning on the news. He's saying this is all bullshit."
And the thing about Tin Horn Flats, which is no longer exists, right?
Yeah, not only no longer exists, they fenced up around it. They then permanent fence. They then entered into cahoots with his ex-wife. They then the city did. They then basically condemned the place, sold it off, and just robbed him. I mean, it was
family owned for 50 years.
For 50 years, yeah. How'd you like to just think if you heard that story and you changed? It wasn't Tin Horn Flats. It was Some Dumb Fuck, and it was a Chinese restaurant in Beijing. Right. And part of the zero tolerance policy of China, that they took Some Dumb Fuck's restaurant, they fenced around it, and then basically bulldozed it and stole the business. And that's why there are protests on the zero tolerance policy. You would say, yeah, I can believe that would be in China. That would we're free. That would never happen here.
Yeah. And then the guy who implements that is calling every governor from every free and open state a totalitarian dictator. That's the cherry on top of the retarded sundae.
Exactly. When you combine it with the fact that we're under, Gary can maybe pull up the definition of emergency, because I've never heard of an emergency.
So
in the last
Tin Horn
years.
Flats is a kind of a honky tonk, and it's a local watering hole, and it's been there for a million years. And people don't go there to take out; they go there to hang out and have a drink with like-minded people. That was the atmosphere when I was there, at least. So. They closed down indoor dining, but Tin Horn Flats has a pretty robust outdoor
dining. And by the way, you can still do to-go. So it was fine for you to do to-go at a large outdoor mall.
Right.
You could do that, but not here. So you couldn't go, and they've got tables. And here's the definition of emergency. A serious, unexpected, often dangerous situation requiring immediate action, your quick response in an emergency. So is there anything about an emergency that would lead you to believe it lasts 3 years?
No, that is ongoing. So an emergency is somebody got in a motorcycle accident and needs to be airlifted out.
Correct.
The other one is somebody's battling diabetes. That's what we're in, but that's not an emergency. That's a situation. It's a chronic situation. Yes, so we're still... And will we be the last state?
Oh, I think so. Aren't we already, or who else is still there?
Surprisingly, there's a couple of other states that still had it in place. But by the time we get to the end of February 2023, I think we shall be last in we'll be last. We'll be first in taxes and last in getting rid of the emergency order. So that's the state we can live in. So there's still a few that are
Texas is still under emergency order.
Very surprising to me. Yeah. I don't know who. Abbott's their governor, right?
Right. Okay, and then the last breaking news that we've got, Gary and I were just talking about it. We had mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, another trial by John Durham in Washington, D.C., 5 counts of false statements to the FBI agent. You always know a federal case has some weaknesses if it's false statements. They can't find a substantive crime, but then they say, okay, you lied to the FBI agent. Durham tried this case himself, and the defendant...
Which case is this?
This is the one with the guy who supposedly...
Igor Danchenko, which could not be more perfect. It sounds like it was written for Hollywood.
Yeah, and that was the Russian guy who was supposed to be Trump's... sort of
puppet? He was the primary source of information for the Trump-Russia dossier.
Oh, okay.
And so they said he was charged with 5 statements of giving false information to, or making false statements to the FBI. Jury, 4 statements. He started the trial on 5. The judge kicked out one on what's called a Rule 29 because they said, didn't you email or didn't you talk to this guy? And literally it was not true. I mean, what the FBI had alleged.
What are they trying to get on him? Or are they trying to do it? What's Durham trying to do with him?
Get him to flip. Because if you convict him, the federal method is you try somebody, you convict them, and then you get them to cooperate. Or you get them to cooperate as soon as you charge them. And the jury was out, I think, about 8 hours and acquitted this guy across the board. And Durham tried the case himself. You know, a lot of times you say a Durham prosecution. He didn't do the last one that was also an acquittal. He was in the courtroom as a trial lawyer, and the jury just rejected it. Although, based on the reporting, I thought it was going to be a lot quicker. And the guy who tried it is somebody I've known for many years. In fact, when I was representing Chris Brown in D.C. for that Floyd Merriweather one punch out by the tour bus, Danny was my co-counsel. There we are. Danny and his partner Stewart tried that case.
So we concluded that he didn't do anything wrong in terms of the Steele dossier?
At least the jurors did after 8 hours. Exactly right.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our 15. So when do you think you'll get an update on Tin Horn Flats?
Probably I would say in a month. I will have something that you will enjoy.
And is the city going to, I mean, how are they going to circle the wagons?
Oh, yeah, they've got to, because the damages are astronomical in this case.
And the discovery is going to be good.
Yeah, the discovery is probably my favorite part of that case.
Because those guys don't even know when a mic's hot. And this is Burbank.
Yeah, we're not even talking L.A. City Council. No, this is Burbank City Council.
This is AAA compared to the all-star team of retards over there.
This may not even be AAA. This could be like whatchamacallit earthquakes. You know what I mean? What is that, Rancho Cucamonga?
Yeah, that's single A, I think.
Single A. All right, you can go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Mike Drop Comedy Club coming up October 28th, 29th in San Diego. And just go to adamcarolla.com for all your information for all the live shows. Mark?
Oh, I would, once again, stop by Dirty Taco, say hi to Jake. You got a 1-star review today because somebody said they didn't like his attitude, but they loved the food. And I said, well, that fits. I can understand that, right? That's the Jake you know and love.
So, until next time, Adam Carolla for Mark Hardout Garrett saying mahalo.
Thanks for listening to Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. Stay tuned for more bonus episodes coming soon.